Okay, first official race of the season, Gopher Dunes, round 1 XC, Offroad Ontario. Let's get it started. And we are off. Holy, getting a little bit slippery there, a little loose. It was pretty muddy. Holy cow, watch where you're going, boys. Oh my god, almost took me out. Good thing I had a little bit of a slow start, or I would have been right in the middle of that probably. There were, I believe, 26 people on the line, so it was a pretty full line. And I mean, it is pretty slick out here in this mud. So that was bound to happen. I'm just glad I didn't get caught up in that, because that sucks. First thing, having to pick up your bike and using all your energy. So this year I'm racing on a new bike. I got a 2023 XC300. Which I'm really hyped about. I haven't ridden it too much. I've had a couple track days, and I did Rock the Rust SXC. And man, let me tell you, this bike is an absolute beast. It is a rocket ship. It's a lot to handle, but I'm getting used to it. Getting used to the ins and outs of the 2-stroke versus the 4-stroke, and man, do I ever love it. I would not want to go back. This bike is so much fun, and it makes racing so much more fun. So the reason I actually went with the XC300 is because I ran the corduroy last year on my YZ250FX, and it went overall pretty good. But on Friday I was demoing all the bikes, and I tried out this bike, and man, well, I guess it was a 2024 model, but man, it felt so good, and I knew I had to look for one. Then a pretty good deal came up over the winter, so you know I had to hop on it. And I am not regretting it one bit. I love this thing, and I can't wait to get more seat time and really get used to it, because I know I'm going to improve so much this year, and I'm so excited for it. Anyways, Gopher Dunes. So I've been racing only 1 year, and last year Gopher Dunes round 1 and round 2 were the first races that I've ever done in my life. And last year, holy cow, it'd been raining for a week, and it was muddy. Those were some of the hardest races that I've ever done, and such a crazy introduction to the sport of cross-country racing. Thankfully this year, it wasn't nearly as bad. It was pretty slick the first day. It had been raining, not as hard during the week, but we lucked out. We didn't get any rain on the actual Saturday or Sunday, which is awesome. But the track was a little wet. There were some mud holes. I did get stuck. I'll show you that later. But overall, way better than last year. Pretty good. And Sunday, it dried up, and the track was so fast and so fun. Overall, in this race, I did pretty good, I would say. I came in 16, which is about mid-pack. But just as far as feeling went, I felt way faster, I felt way more confident, and I felt way less tired, which is really good. I still got a pretty gnarly arm pump for maybe the first 2 laps or lap and a half, but that went away once I kind of eased into it, as it always does, but usually it lasts a little bit longer, so I'm improving there. Another thing I learned from last year's race season is the importance of picking your line. If you pick the wrong line and you get stuck, or you have to pick up your bike or anything, it zaps so much of your energy, and here is a perfect example of it right now. I chose a line, I saw the guy in front of me kind of struggle, but I still went for it, and my swing arm got hung up on each side of the rut. Thank God it wasn't too deep. Like, if this was last year, my bike might have been sunk there for the entire race, but I was able to just pick it up, push it out. It was just barely stuck, but still, that zapped a lot of energy, and I lost a lot of time from the people in front of me. So a huge thing is line choice, and I didn't get stuck again this race or the next race. I was really taking my time when it came to the mud sections and making sure I chose the best line possible so that I could stay on the bike, because I don't need to waste that extra energy. I don't have that much extra energy, so now I'm newer to racing, And I know you're supposed to be on your feet, but for whatever reason, my brain always tells me to sit down. Like when I'm getting tired, when I'm getting arm pump, my brain tells me to sit down. And honestly, that just makes things way worse. Like I'm getting bumped around, I'm getting thrown around. Any bump that my bike hits translates into my body, so I have to hold on harder. And it usually makes the arm pump even worse. And I know that, but for whatever reason, I keep sitting down. So this year, I've been really telling myself, stand up. I've been drilling that into my head. Quick side note, I've been behind this guy for a while, and I made this pass in the corner. I was pretty proud of that. Nothing crazy, but I mean, being a second-year racer, my passes aren't exactly that good, and I'm also not that confident passing. So I'm getting a little bit more confident trying to choose a nice line to get around people who are a little bit slower, especially in the tight stuff. In the double wide, it's not too hard, but in this tight stuff, it's really hard to get by sometimes if you're not really aggressive or you're not that much of a better rider. So yeah, I've been looking for good ways to pass, and that was a pretty clean one. I'm hyped with that. All right, back to standing up. And in this race, I was standing most of the time, and I felt really good, like going through the tighter single track. I would let my bike kind of bounce around below me and use my feet and my legs, my knees to grip the bike, and it really alleviated that arm pump. And I know most of you guys probably already know that, but... So another mistake I made during this race had to do with my water pack. So at the start of the race, I turned off the mouthpiece because I noticed it was leaking a little bit, and I forgot to turn it back on before we started. So I got about maybe a lap and a half in before my mouth turned into the Sahara Desert. It was so dry, like my spit was like turning solid. It was disgusting, and I had to get some water, so I had to pull over, wasted a couple seconds, but everything counts, right? To turn on that water hose and get some water. You can see here I'm slowing down and I'm kind of looking for it, and I think I get the mouthpiece in my mouth and then just no water comes out, and I kind of remember my big mistake. But yeah, that's about all for the voiceover. I'll let you guys just watch the rest of my race here, and I'll see you next time.